Hey everyone, I'm John, and this is my theater room.
Hey guys, Tony here, and welcome back to yet another room tour. This one is also from the United States in Virginia and belongs to John, who is an active member on my Discord server, links down in the description of this video. And we've been following along as John has posted photos and video demos of his incredible DIY and budget home theater. What is really special to me about this room is that John did everything himself, and as you will see in the video, there are some incredible things in there with attention to detail like LED lighting on the walls and the bracket for the projector, as well as the clever use of the space and working with the constraints of the room are really inspirational. Anyway guys, one last thing before we begin, I'd like to thank all my paid members who joined up to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out with the running costs of the channel, and as always, if you enjoy the video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, but let's get into the video. I just wanted to say that this one is one of the coolest DIY rooms that I've had the fortune of making a tour of. As you will see from the video, John has done all of the work himself, making and fabricating things rather than just buying a product off the shelf, and that makes me appreciate the end result even more. The LED lights are the showstopper in this room, and the amount of work that went into it is truly impressive. So the room dimensions are 12 feet 6 inches wide, 22 feet long, and 12 feet high, and as you can see, the high ceiling is something unusual in a home theater, but that's because it's actually an attached single car garage that wasn't being used. There was a lot of work that John needed to do to make the room usable, which included covering up the cinder block walls to create a room within a room, leaving the existing walls intact and making new ones inside to make sure that the room was soundproof from the inside and the outside before adding the sheetrock. The door that goes up into the kitchen is quite high up, so John made the staircase and landing and then did further work to acoustically treat the door using green glue and MDF, and as you can see from the sound check, he did a great job containing the sound within the room. Overall, there is about 6 inches lost to the internal dimensions of the room, but it was the price to pay for making sure that sound leakage and containment was done properly. Rather than looking at the staircase as a negative, John decided to take advantage of the space and set up his old kegerator so that he could continue to brew his own beer, with beer taps added for convenience. This was a clever use of the space, making a small confectionery area for movie nights with a popcorn machine on a small bench. To me, this is an excellent example of turning a problem into a solution. Moving to the back of the room, we have the custom-built cabinet which houses the AV gear as well as the surround speakers. Originally, this was going to house his brewing equipment, however, realized that this was a better use of the space, having the custom lighting, space for his AV gear and speakers, as well as a ladder for a little shelf with cushions so that it could be used as an additional row of seats for his kids. John also fabricated a custom table for his room, welding it up, and it's made to measure so it fit the space perfectly. I'll discuss the lighting later in the video, but for the acoustic treatment, John had always wanted to have honeycomb shaped walls, so he handmade every section himself using plywood, and using the mirror method he worked out with his wife's help where the main reflection points were in the room, and he cut the acoustic foam to shape, gluing it to the 3mm plywood, which is lightweight and easy to screw to the wall. There is also acoustic foam behind the screen to avoid sound reflections coming back towards the screen, which he purchased from Amazon. Above the screen, and to fill some of the blank space between the screen and the ceiling, John made a custom diffuser from some of the foam left over from the star ceiling project. It's both decorative but also serves purpose with acoustic treatment. As just mentioned, John created a custom star ceiling, and this was a huge task. The star ceiling pattern is a reproduction of the sky from his wedding night and took an incredible amount of work to map out each star point and glue each of the fibers. It took around 3 months of work on and off, and I can certainly relate to that as I have a video on my channel which I will link above as to how I made my own star ceiling, so check it out after this video if you're interested. Made with black velvet, holes were cut for the overhead speakers, and he even threaded fibers into them so that there wouldn't be any blank spots, and that just shows his attention to detail with everything in this room. Moving to the seating and keeping in line with John's approach to doing things with as little spend as possible, he purchased a set of recliners from the Restore from Habitat for Humanity, so he doesn't know the make or the brand of the seating, and it has done the job for him and his family to watch movies and play video games. Ultimately, John told me he would love a set of Valencia Tuscany recliners in the future. He's actually installed Bass Transducers into the current seats as well. For smart control, John relies on CEC with his Shield Pro to turn off and on the room, and so far it works well for him and he hasn't felt the need to invest in a control system, but does plan to integrate automation, including the lighting, sometime in the near future. The screen is a 150-inch 16:9 acoustic screen, which of course was made DIY by John, with pine lumber to make the frame and black spandex backing with white spandex over the front. Spandex is great for acoustic transparency while also giving a great image, largely due to the black backing. The projector is the LG HU810PW 4K laser projector, which is perfect for the room dimensions, and one of the cool features is the custom-made bracket, which is wall mounted and strong enough to hold it up to the wall. The mount itself is like a crazy art piece and totally matches the DIY approach to the room. Let's take a look at some movie and gaming demos of John and his family. We have a 7.2.4 speaker configuration with the Polk 265RT for the left, center and right, built into the wall for a stealthy approach, with matching 65 RTs for the surrounds and the rear surrounds mounted into the cabinet. These speakers fit the budget requirements of building the home theater and are all timbre matched for seamless sound, while also giving him a nice cinematic experience in his room, and are positioned properly to get them on access and pointing to the seated area. The overhead effects speakers are the Polk 70RT by 4, which as mentioned earlier are hidden under the star ceiling and give a great level of channel separation between the bed layers as the ceiling is quite high. The subwoofers are the Dayton Audio 15-inch Sub 1500, which are a powerful subwoofer giving plenty of bass while watching action movies. John is really happy with his speaker choices, and a second matching sub was actually only just added to the setup. For the AV gear, we have the Denon X3700H, which is great for powering his 7.2.4 setup, and to give a little more dynamics to his speaker, he purchased the Emotiva Bass X for the LCR, and this was so he could save money on buying a 13-channel processor and having to buy multiple amplifiers. He decided to go this way for now and is very happy with the results. There is also a Dayton audio amplifier for the Bass Transducers under the seats, which give a little extra tactile feedback in the seats, which he has tuned just enough so that he feels consistent with the subwoofers and the action on the screen. For gaming, he has the Nintendo Switch, and his kids really enjoy playing retro games like Super Mario with the Switch, and having it on a 150-inch screen certainly gives a new dimension to these old games. For movie watching and streaming, John has the Nvidia Shield Pro, and he told me he is saving up for a new game console and a PC, and also some power conditioners to fill the empty slots in the cabinet. So as mentioned earlier in the video, the lighting is one of the coolest elements of the home theater build. Starting with the perimeter lighting, we have the white LED strips with a PWM transformer running off a dimmer switch so that it can be controlled via an app. There is an identical setup for the LED strips around the perimeter as well. The wall lighting is set up the same on both sides of the wall with the honeycomb pattern, and not all the sections are actually wired up, and there is strategic placement of the panels to give the best coverage. Cheap LEDs from Amazon were used, and have 60 LEDs per meter, with each tile having around 100 LEDs around it. There is 5-volt wiring around the room, which John installed prior to the sheetrock so that it could be tapped into as needed, and each one has a controller node which can control every 3 tiles, and the patterns will repeat on each node. It's a simple setup repeated around the room and controlled with the WLED app, and again, being budget conscious, the controllers only cost $5 each. They are added via Wi-Fi and synchronized. Basically, you can pick a single node controller and it will synchronize to the rest. Everything is controlled through John's smartphone. These will also integrate with Philips Hue, Alexa, and other plugins for future automation. There is a PSU on a wall switch so that when he walks into the room, he can turn it on. There are over 115 effects that can be controlled through WLED, and of course, when it's time to watch a movie, they can just be turned off. I think John has done an incredible job with his home theater, and it shows that budget should never be your roadblock when it comes to building the room of your dreams, where literally you are only limited by your imagination. All up from electronics and construction, speakers, and everything in between, John tells me the room only cost him around $17,000 to build, which is pretty incredible considering the end result. If you enjoyed the video, why not show John some love by giving the video a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more room tours like this one, consider subscribing, as I have quite a few queued up over the next couple of months. I'd like to thank John for all of his assistance with putting this tour together, and if you'd like to know more or to speak to him directly, why not join the Discord server? It's free and you can chat to other like-minded home theater enthusiasts. John also has a YouTube channel as well for this project and plans on making some how I did it videos for this process, so check the link in the description to John's channel as well. I'm going to try to get as many of my scheduled room tour videos out before the break over Christmas, so if I don't manage to get them out, I'd like to thank you all for watching my videos and supporting the work that I do here on YouTube. It's greatly appreciated. Anyway guys, that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.